Hi guys, it's Ian Coleman. It is Thursday the 20th of May 2021, 8:38 in the morning in the UK. In this video I want to talk about the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. I've got an interesting setup there, quite a decent target level. Later on today I'm going to do a report on DMARC and cryptos. Now, I posted a video on the 12th of May which highlighted a potential top in cryptos, and obviously we saw an onslaught yesterday. Managed to buy some dips, and basically in the video later on I'm going to explain why. But first of all, let's talk about this New Zealand dollar setup. Let's get back to some sort of normality where things don't decline by 65% in one day. New Zealand dollar, so this is my single currency basket. We've got to look at big picture analysis. We always look at outside timeframes and then come in. So we want to look at a monthly chart, a weekly chart, a daily chart, 4-hour chart, etc. to basically decipher whether or not we're in a corrective phase or whether or not we're actually trading against the overall trend. So let's go to this chart first. Up here, we have the potential for a crab formation. So we have seen a decline. Has that crab completed? A bit hard to tell really from current levels, but if we go to this time frame, this is the daily chart. Here we can see that I believe we're in this BC leg. Okay, the BC leg normally retraces between 78.6% and 88.6% of the AB leg. Okay, so we've only had a small reversal. Well, it looks like a small reversal up to now, around about sort of 50%. I would say maybe just a little bit over. I'm not going to put an indicator on there, but it brings me to this chart. This is the 8-hour chart. So this basically is what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a rally up towards this confluence area. Okay, that's 161.8%, and it's also 88.6%. We did surpass this 50% level, but I do like the confluence area. So I'm looking for this this CD leg to the upside. So I'm looking to buy New Zealand dollar. And if we go to this chart, this is the last chart I'm going to look at. Okay, so this is just a 4-hour chart. Here we've made a perfect Gartley. So all time frames are lining up for a potential move higher. Now we normally need a fundamental driver. The fundamental driver really overnight has been the New Zealand annual budget report. There was also some pretty minor data releases, and we had some data releases out of the Australian dollar, obviously very closely linked to the New Zealand dollar. That was unemployment that came in better than expected. So we're seeing a bit of a shift to the upside in the New Zealand dollar. And that brings me to the basket of New Zealand products, and I'm going to go through them all. So this is actually one that I've taken this morning, New Zealand dollar against the US dollar, because I've got this confluence area to the upside here, which will then make a butterfly formation. So I'm trading this leg. I've got a stop below the low here. I'm looking for 73. I've actually got a target at 73.50. Got confluence area at 52 and 53. So let's have a quick look at the dollar, the US dollar. We're just seeing this mild decline. Now, remember, the big picture analysis is really still for a move to the upside, but I thought this was quite interesting this morning. We've got 5 waves up, and we're starting to see an aggressive move to the downside. Now, it's very important where that first leg stops or pauses. If it stops and retraces from 50%, then it's likely that we'll get to 88.6%. If it stops at 61.8%, it's likely we'll see a bounce up and then it will come to 78.6%. However, if it gets to 78.6%, then it's likely that it will break the low and come down to these sort of levels. So at the moment, the fact that it's pushing through 38.2, getting close to 50, it's looking like we could see a deeper correction in the US dollar, and we've definitely got scope for sort of intraday noise, if you like, bouncing and then selling into rallies in the US dollar. So basically what's happening now, in my mind, is I'm thinking New Zealand is going to go higher, US dollar is going to go lower, but only probably in the short term, or at least I'm just hoping in the short term. So that has given me that bias to get long on New Zealand against the US dollar. But let's have a look at the other New Zealand products and see whether or not we can get correlation. So we're looking at correlation. We want everything to be giving us power. So we want other New Zealand crosses to show an upside bias for the New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand Swiss, and again we've got to look at big picture analysis. This has clipped an 88.6. This is the weekly chart, so it's likely that the move higher is just corrective, but what we have got here is this nice ending wedge formation. So a breakout of this level here, and the target level should be at 66.04. New Zealand yen, again we've got two. It was a bit of a toss-up actually between New Zealand dollar and New Zealand yen, but I went for New Zealand dollar in the end. We've got this lovely butterfly formation that's happened overnight, and we're starting to see a move to the upside. If we look to the 4-hour chart, this is our target level up here, around about 80. So again, a nice butterfly formation giving New Zealand dollar a bullish bias. If we go to New Zealand CAD, I can't remember what I've put on this one, to be honest. I think this was the one that I wasn't particularly keen on. I mean, what we have got here is we've got a 50% retracement level on the weekly chart, but we're sort of scraping around looking for not other excuses, but other reasons to get long. I mean, a potential double bottom, you've got to break here to confirm that double bottom, but we are starting to see a move to the upside. Euro against New Zealand dollar, and I'm looking at this. This is the 8-hour chart. So I'm looking for a move lower in euro, so that's weakening euro, strengthening New Zealand dollar again, coming down in the BC leg. And even if we look to the 1-hour chart, we've got a 423.6% extension up here. Commodity crosses have a tendency to extend to 423.6%. What else we got? Sterling New Zealand, and again it's starting to come off quite aggressively now. If we look to the 8-hour chart, okay, we're looking for this BC leg to the downside. And then last but not least, Aussie New Zealand. I thought this was quite interesting as well, but I only like to take one pair. So basically consolidation. So we've moved lower, we've hit this 78.6% fib level. This looks like a consolidating triangle formation. What happens is after a decline, that has a tendency to break to the downside. Okay, it's also known as a flag or a pennant formation. So basically, I think this, we will see weakening Australian dollar and strengthening New Zealand dollar to get down to this level. So just to reiterate, New Zealand moving higher on the back of a budget report. We've got a Cypher pattern on the New Zealand single currency, and then we go to the baskets of currencies, and we can see a reason for most of the New Zealand crosses to show strengthening New Zealand dollar. Okay guys, I hope that makes sense. Good luck today. I'll be back later with that crypto report. Be safe out there, especially if you are trading those cryptocurrencies. Okay, take care. Thank you.